Orlando Pirates, and he got a single cup game in Buccaneers colours in the last campaign, so he'll be delighted to be playing regularly again. You remember his performances at TS Galaxy saw him earn that transfer to Orlando Pirates. So underway here. William had a chance to have a look at the pitch conditions. What can you tell us?
Yeah, listen,
this is one of those situations where it's perhaps best left.
Yes. I'll prefer that way before I spoil it for the fans, because I'll be repeating myself throughout the game, talking about the same problem. But the one factor that I think will be clear is the players will find themselves being covered or being surrounded with a lot of players, because it takes a little bit of time, listen, to bring the ball under control because of how bumpy the pitch is. So that doesn't quite allow for a free-flowing game. That is my only concern.
We might add, of course, that the weather report is not very good for this part of the world today. It was nice and sunny earlier on, but the dark clouds are looming, and the weatherman does say that it's going to rain for the next couple of days here in Sekhukhune.
Hopefully it comes a little bit later on this evening. At least save this game for now, because the pitch is already a big concern. Imagine if it rains.
Kize, who's skippering the side today, playing it back there to Matsimbi, all a little cautious in these early stages. Help in the middle as well from Coupe, the new signing from Uppington.
And you remember him at Morocco Swallows as well before they got relegated. It's Coupe, general in the middle of the park. Alongside him, Kize.
Morby normally on the right, but today playing the middleman in a three-man defence.
But the real concern is for me, if we have two players that will have been right full-backs in Mobi and Matsimbi, it's a little bit of a concern. If you think of which way is the flow of the game, you're looking for a balance, two center backs. This time they don't have it.
That ball picked up by keeper Kouassi. You're not going to get an easier start to your career in South African football than that effort. Picked up very confidently, and that'll settle the nerves somewhat.
I had a chat with Morning, of course, the coach. He was telling me about just how comfortable he is. He arrived a few weeks back with an hernia injury, in which he has recovered from.
First touch now for Buthelezi at the other end. Both of these sides keeping clean sheets in their opening league match last weekend. AmaZulu had an away game against Stellenbosch, but because of problems with the availability of fields in the Western Cape, AmaZulu actually had played that game not far from here in Claremont at the Sugar Ray Kulu Stadium. Won that with a penalty from Ngwenya, and Sekhukhune were 1-0 winners against Durban City. They were also forced to host their home game away from their usual venue at the Peter Mokaba Stadium. It was played at Shesheko.
Okay, you can start with the S.
So early stages here. Well, let's see what Sekhukhune can set up. That free kick from Rumala played out wide, and then a little bit wild from that right-hand side. Keegan Allen in his debut with AmaZulu last season against Marumo Gallants. Now Mujela, look how far back he's come to collect the ball. Now, a chance to McKeesey recovering well, and had a little bit of a go at his teammate there for the errant pass. Kazim on this left-hand side. He's also a new signing. He was at Venda in the last campaign. Second game for him. And Sekhukhune colours, I should add. This is Khadebe. What a good season he had in the last campaign down the right for AmaZulu. Same with Popola.
Surprise, surprise, Mujela starting a little to the left side as an inverted this time. And, you know, he comes from the right the whole of the time and delivers crosses. Given the opportunity, tucks in as well and attacks the box. The ball is coming from the opposite angle. So today we're going to see him operating as an inverted, coming from the left-hand side of the attack.
Got Mahlangu in the traditional number 9 position with the number 9 on his jersey as well. There he is, just got a little shove there from Phillies. Phillies will be keeping a close eye on him, and I'm sure by the end of the 90 minutes or possibly 120 minutes, Mahlangu will know all about it from the experienced Tariq Phillies. Not one to take any prisoners.
Even better for me, I would like to see exactly what does Mahlangu possesses that is different from Ndlovu, who we know can be very explosive and he can score crackers or goal, or whether they're serving him for later, that's Ndlovu, I'm not sure. But if Mahlangu basically is preferred ahead of Ndlovu, that speaks volume of his ability.
Ndlovu, as William is pointing out, scored in the last game but sits on the bench from the start today.
Often starts as a central defender, but if the situation is not working out for Sekhukhune, he's often thrown in the attacking
towards
as a
the
striker.
end of last season he had quite a lot of games up front.
That's right.
Now Kazim with a throw-in. Cautious start, looked like a little bit of a handball there from Coupe. It continues, however. Ramala on that right-hand side.
Ramala is left-footed, that's why Mujela is on this side. So Ramala is on the right-hand side of the channel, also playing as an inverted.
Kazim now. Coupe finds Mkhize. They'll be the two men at the heart of the midfield. Ramala. Now Mokoane gets the first touch over this game. Mahlangu up front. Phillies cleverly gets that back to his goalkeeper.
Calmly brings down the control.
Yes, this Ivorian, 23 years old. Played in the African Confederation Cup last season, so we've got a lot of experience in the colours of the Malian club Jaliba. Not a small side by any measure. The Malian team regulars in continental club competition year after year.
And that exposure has actually brought him the experience of being able to play from the back. And that's one thing that most African goalkeepers, should I say, from the West, then the side of the continent, they struggle playing from the back. But his exposure from even a bit of Europe has helped him to come up with that. The coach, Moni, was speaking volume of his ability to build from the back.
Aaron pass up front, looking for Mdaka. Overcooked by Tariq Phillies. The tall frame of Tsepo Shiloane. Remember him from Orlando Pirates last season. Played the first 2 league games of the campaign. They lost both of those. Went to Sekhukhune midway through the season and remains with the team from Polokwane. Joburg based actually, Sekhukhune. They train in Gauteng, but play their home games, of course, in the Limpopo province.
To know exactly where they do is on the eastern side of Johannesburg, around the Bedford View area. You can ask around, or you'll see the bus transporting players back and forth to training
at the youth club.
Not exactly.
Long ball here for Buthelezi.
I know you're talking about the Corinthians. No, not that.
And Mpumalanga Black Aces used to be based.
Yes. I'm not going to say any further.
Banjo making no progress down that left, but just need a little injection of energy into this game. And Ngwenya, the goal for them last weekend from the penalty spot, he's recovered from that broken foot which kept him out for the last couple of months of the campaign. He still finished the season with 7 goals. Nicely done by Mahlangu. Finds Mojela into the area they come. And that is going to go for a goal kick. Mojela a little frustrated.
Ramallah finds himself a little bit on this side on the left, but he was offside. That's why I allowed the ball just to roll past him for a goal kick. What I can tell you is both teams are applying the high press on either side of the field. If Sekhukhune is defensively, AmaZulu will be in their faces not to allow them to play from the back. But Sekhukhune is applying the same tactics as well. AmaZulu can't play. They're a team that can play.
Now a bit of pace. The two number 2s up against each other. Makokola gets past Mobi. The clearance made fairly comfortably by Matsimbi, but this is a very exciting footballer. He's going to be potentially one of the stars of the campaign if he can continue the form that he showed in the last season. There's just a little touch in there as the cross came.
In fact, the heels of Matukolo that grazed the feet of Mobi to trip him.
Now Kadebe steals it away. Good pass! Oh, and a little touch in there for Ngwenya. It seemed somehow easier to score than to put it over the bar, but that must go down as a golden opportunity. Watch Kadebe here. Just takes advantage. The defender, or Mojela, was waiting for the backspin almost to fall for him.
Now, what does Ngwenya does wrong here? I think he uses the right foot, which I think there was nothing wrong with that. But I think he almost places the outside of the boot, which doesn't quite allow the ball roll to go in low. That side of the foot actually is what piled it over the bar.
Youngsters Sikali. Battling away here with Ramallah. Sikali gets the free kick. He was a debutant in March and kept his place towards the end of the season. He's picked up where he left off. Kylie. Moment will be taken by Khadebe. Early stages of this game. Last season, the Sekhukhune were beaten by Stellenbosch in the semi-finals. You'll of course remember semi-finals of this competition are played over 2 legs. It's the closest they've come to a final appearance. AmaZulu, as you mentioned earlier, were in the final 4 years ago, losing by a single goal. Monakule Saleng, who's been in the news over the last 24 hours, scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have got a penalty anyway, but Ngwenya was taking no chances. A lot of hesitancy in that Sekhukhune defence, and the Zimbabwean punishes the visiting team.
Listen, I know it's a beautiful goal by Ngwenya, but there was an incident of a clash of heads, a head injury that could have maybe been viewed by the referee, which wasn't, and I think that's where the hesitance started from Sekhukhune, not being able to really focus on the game.
That's what you're talking about,
yes,
right there.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, that would have been given, but great work by AmaZulu, who took full advantage of the situation.
Now, would that have been a penalty there? That challenge on Makokola from Mobi. But Ngwenya wasn't going to wait for the whistle. He with a striker's touch. Thumps that in the back of the net.
I don't see any other way. Of which that opportunity, that push on Matokolo, I think easily for me could have resulted. But yes, when you decides, let's not have any argument about this, let me just wrap this thing all up.
So, a goal for AmaZulu inside the first quarter hour. The home team lead here, looking to add their name to that of Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns amongst the semi-finalists for this competition. It's already a heavyweight field for the semis. They're going to be played not this coming next weekend, but the weekend thereafter. Successive weekends, the 22nd, 23rd, and 29th, 30th. They'll be very pleased, Arthur's one. It took his side almost an hour or so to get a goal against Stellenbosch last week, and it came from the penalty spot. This time, a much earlier strike will give them lots of confidence. Sekhukhune out on their far side. This is only the 10th start of the season for him. Youngster by PSL standards, 24. Kazim Kize. Good running down the flank, but little dummy from Hanemud secures the goal kick for the home team. Clash of heads which led to the goal. As soon as we get a break in play, just for you at home to make your mind up whether perhaps play should have been stopped a little earlier before when you stuck that into the back of the net. Yes, Kadebe, Zikale, Finney's pushing up. Just Hanemud and Keegan Allen left in the half along with the goalkeeper. Finney's does well. Now Zikale, early ball. Anywhere will do. A little unconventional in defence from Sekhukhune from Matsimbi. Well, they take it quickly though. There's Kadebe. He's given Sekhukhune the free kick, a chance for them to clear their lines.
That clearance from Matsimbi shows you exactly that his strong foot is the right. That, for me, could have been easily dealt with by a left foot, just to clear it right. But because he was facing his own goal and right-footed, that's why it made it so uncomfortable.
Now, Kadebe hangs that in there. Matsimbi clears. This is Kiza, always so strong in the middle, but close to being dispossessed on that occasion. Kato Moralo in the midfield, signed of course from Siwelele. Now Mojela, bit of space for him. Looking to combine. All the way through for Ramada. Well read by Morbi. Kazim. Now Mahlangu gets the shot in, straight at Keegan Allen. Well, the pace is certainly picked up. Ball continues. They could have gone maybe a little further and played a better pass.
Oh, just lift the ball a bit higher for the player running into the far side.
Simbi again, he started his career at Black Leopards. Good turn, free kick surely. Quickly taken by Mahlangu, and lucky for him the referee wasn't ready, because that quickly taken free kick was hit far too firmly. It was Mokowane who was brought down. Challenged by Ndaka. Interestingly, Ndaka playing a little higher up the left-hand side with Hanemud behind him. At Stellenbosch, he was more of a left-back. He last season replaced Fawaz Basadin in the team.
The thing is, AmaZulu are playing with 3 in defense. Hanamu pulls a part of the 3 in that center of defense, a little to the left. And Ndaga is now a wing back. So is Hatev on the right inside. So Ndaga picks up, it gives him the permission to push a little bit more forward. This in turn tactically allows AmaZulu to have a little bit more in the narrow part of the attack when they have possession of the ball.
Set piece opportunity. Phillies is up there trying to get a touch. It's the 5th one that finally gets rid of it. Straight up into the air though. That might burst some of the rain clouds that are hovering just above us.
Is that how high it was? Listen, when you are in that kind of pressure, you don't care where it goes. It's furthest away from your area. No matter how long it takes to drop, it gives you time to adjust.
Now Allen with a left-footed clearance. Moralo, Zikare back. Keeper sees the danger, comes out quickly. Nice and busy, Zikare, looking for Khadebe. Now then, have an opportunity here again. That ball just gets away in the end from Mbanjwa. And that's a foul.
This was a better ball from Kikolo. This is what he should have done with that earlier pass. Look at him, he knows, he looks at the far side, and that ball cuts in between the central defender and the fullback. That's exactly. It is very difficult for the defenders. They're facing their own goal, and in this case, he's right-footed. That's where it becomes even more dangerous.
Now Kazim looking for Mojela, easily cut out. The AmaZulu throw-in round about the halfway line here at the Chatsworth Stadium. AmaZulu playing the first of 3 successive home games for them over the next of matches. They'll be up against Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at Ramana bursting through now. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. Oh, he left a bit of a gap between the post and himself there, William.
Let's look at it one more time here. Yes, definitely there was a gap there. But that's why then his reaction was first to that very part that he had left the gap. In fact, he was trying to fish the attacker to actually target that very space, knowing that he's going to cover it immediately. But great work still. Presence of mind to realize that it's too far for him to get down and pick it up. So made a block with his legs.
So AmaZulu here at Chatsworth on this Sunday. Wednesday at the Moses Mabhida Stadium against Orlando Pirates. And next Saturday they're hosting Siwelele at Kings Park, one of their old venues where the Natal Sharks, or the KwaZulu-Natal Sharks, still play their rugby, where the All Blacks will be in action on Tuesday. Play on here. No way through for Coupe. Right foot again. If he had a little bit more Makakolo on the left, on his left foot, he would be such a dynamic player. Now Mojela. Zikali got the touch. Allen does the cover work. And here is Ngwenya, the goal scorer. Nicely done by Khadebe. Left-footed pass. Is that onside? No. Flags up against Mbanjwa.
I like Mbanjwa's hunger to extend himself a little bit on the front foot and assisting with the attacking players. In the past, he would have played a bit more central, but now he's developed this ability to push a bit forward. If you have Moralo and Zikali, there's no need for you to hang around a little too defensive. You need more support. You need a very offensive AmaZulu.
The ball over the top. Will be with the all-important touch. Shloane plays it out wide. Kowane in possession. And skipper Kize. He's always teasing coming in from this left-hand side. Tricky player. Now, Kazim, Coupe. Daka might get there first, and cover is provided. Neatly done by Mbanjwa. Got themselves out of trouble, and a bit of space here for Ndaka. Small band of hardy AmaZulu fans in front of us, but they're certainly enjoying themselves with their team in the lead. There's nothing like having your side in front in a cup game to get the vocal cords going. Foul by Allen on Mojela. And the reaction there from Mojela, who's a feisty character. And the referee, I think, is going to call for the peace pipe to be smoked between Keegan Allen and Efrenoro Mojela. There we go.
Well done, boys.
Hand in the face is what Allen was complaining about, but he was hands all over Mojela, which was what fueled his irritation.
Still, Mojela should know better. It's lucky that other referees will not accuse that. Yes, he was provoked, but still, you need self-discipline as an individual playing the field of play. That's a bookable offense.
Now, Kouassi, is he going to be tested? Let's see what they do with this. Ramala delivers. It's a header over the top. They've got height, it must be said, Sekhukhune, for those set pieces. I think Matsimi will be a little disappointed.
Yep. Equally so is Felice that they allowed an opposition player in their midst, inside the box, to head the ball.
Matsimi's never scored in the top flight before, so not unexpected. That flew over. Zwane, you might see it at the bottom of your screen now, getting rather irritated with his players. Allen up to Ngwenya. Good hold up there by the striker. Support from Khandebe. He's going to go to the byline, into the penalty area. Going to pull it back, and it is a corner kick for AmaZulu. Again, finding it fairly easy to cut their way through the Sekhukhune defense. Not been impressive at the back, the visitors, so far in this encounter.
So concerned about the players I spoke about, that with the ability of the wing-backs pushing wide, so it means AmaZulu has more in there. So the defenders are more concerned about those players, giving Hadebe the space to clear his way in these wide areas. Should be the same happening on the right-hand side or left-hand side of the attack. Ramala
has to touch a little bit of the line. That's the rule.
It's a beautiful area. Look at Butele's hand onto the shoulders.
Left foot from Hanamubu. Curl it. Good strong clearing header, only as far as Khandebe. It's forced up by the work of Mokoane. Zikali looking for Allen. He's offside. The flag went up from the linesman.
Exactly.
Too difficult to call for the officiating team. Now Kupe with a little ball forward, looking for Mokoane, just too much on that. Kuase will get things going with Ndaka on the left. Ndaka played for Stellenbosch in the final last year against Orlando Pirates. You remember it was goalless going into extra time. Pirates getting 3 goals in the additional time. Here's a chance again for Mbanjwa. Just not enough on that ball in.
Excellent covering defense from Kazim. Saw the danger and immediately came in front and cleared. Speed of attack from AmaZulu. Like you say, Makagolo is one of the fastest, if I may put it that way, wingers in this league.
So half an hour gone here. Remember, we must have a winner here at Chatsworth, and at 6 o'clock tonight, the last of the quarterfinal matches with Kaiser Chiefs hosting Golden Arrows.
I don't know if you picked up that should have been given it as a drop ball, because Kiese clutters into the referee and he goes down, and he was expecting for a bit of support.
Kiese is not happy with the referee, and the referee not happy with Kiese either. Both had a few words for each other. Kazim. When you're unable to put his foot on it. This is Maklangu. Ramala on the outside of the foot. All the way through for the visitors. So both of these sides last season beaten by Stellenbosch in this competition. AmaZulu lost 3-2 in extra time in the quarterfinal. They were out at the first attempt in the MTN 8, as they were the season before, the last time they competed before that. Here's an opportunity. Inviting little ball. I'm not sure Alan knew where it was, or there was a man behind him. But Sekhukhune not taking the opportunity. In the presence of Keegan Allen doing enough to deny Mujela. They're continuing their little feisty battle.
But I guess at this point in time, you can agree with me that AmaZulu has been the more offensive of the two. They've troubled that goalkeeper of Butelezi. Maybe this side, Kwasa has had less activity on his side.
Mokoane played it in there, looking for Machiluane to play the 1-2. Ramala now. Kazim. Again, possession turned over here, and maybe an opportunity. Kadebe really does enjoy pushing forward down this right-hand side. He stayed down after that challenge. Play continues, however. Now Mkize. Kupe. Ramala, watched by Allen. Ramala does well. He's got 3 players around him now. Finds Kazim in a bit of space. Needed that early ball in. Mujela got a touch. AmaZulu clear. All of a sudden, Sekhukhune knocking on the door here. AmaZulu with everyone back behind the ball.
Very compact in that middle.
This is too long again.
What makes it very compact, of course, is the 3 in defense and 5 in that middle. That makes it very hard for any player in possession of the ball. I'm talking Sekhukhune in this case to try and play through. That's why there are other options is the long pass in trying to find the front runners, which is anybody's ball.
Tariq Philly is the only man on the picture today who's won the MTN 8. He did so with Cape Town City back in 2018. Corner's being given. Moralo with the attempted cross, and there was enough of a deflection on that. The referee says corner opportunity for AmaZulu with 10 minutes to go to half-time. They were beaten in their last home game, AmaZulu, second penultimate game of the league season in the last campaign. They lost to Kaizer Chiefs. Since then, 2 away games. Beat Durban City in the last game of the season, and then of course Stellenbosch. Both of those in the Durban area. Sekhukhune coming into this game having won one of their last 7 away games at the end of last season. That was away against Chipper United on the penultimate Saturday of the league. Game played at the Buffalo City Stadium. From Dhaka, but he keeps Mokoane at bay. He's got through a lot of work in the middle. This youngster, William, I don't know if you've been impressed so far. 22-year-old who made his debut in March. Nice and busy, making the tackles, winning the ball, distributing.
Actually won man of the match on his debut game, and ever since he's not looked back. Spent a bit of time on the sideline for AmaZulu, but they've been obviously watching him and given the opportunity. He's fantastic product of their development.
Now, this is just having a look back at that incident before the goal. It was Banjwa.
At least it was not a head injury. It looks like it was a shoulder charge.
Okay, so if it had been referred or looked at,
yes,
the referee was right to let it play on.
I agree with you.
The legitimacy of that AmaZulu goal, perhaps further confirmed by a look at that incident again. We did promise it for you. It's taken us a while to show it because of all of the end-to-end action. Little bit of football here with Mokoane together. Now can they keep that combination going? All the players except for Buthelezi, the goalkeeper, now in the AmaZulu half. There's not much space. Wide out to Mojela, not the tallest on the field. Allen with a clearing header. Khadebe getting it forward. AmaZulu very quick to try and transition and look for the breakaway opportunities.
Yeah, a lot of transition football from AmaZulu, which of course if you have the speed, Zulu Kazi, he's a coach. If you look at the speed that AmaZulu possess, in the wide areas and also in the central part of the field. So it makes a lot of sense to come up with those every now and then.
Sekhukhune, of course, co-coached with Khalid Ben Yusuf at Kaizer Chiefs last season. Ben Yusuf coming close to a bit of an upset yesterday against the Orlando Pirates. They were so close to taking that first quarterfinal tie to penalties. In the end, however, that wonderful goal from Lungu.
Amazing.
Separating those two sides. Good Saturday afternoon watch was that match. Back post. Kouassi growing in confidence with every save in this game, and quick with the distribution as well. Zikale finds Ndaka, or does he? No, a little too strong from the youngster. As you mentioned, Ndaka in the final last year for Stellenbosch when they lost to Pirates. The previous year when Pirates also beat Stellenbosch, he was an unused substitute, sat on the bench frustratingly through the whole deciding match. But can he make it through to a third successive final potentially? There's our hardy band of supporters. They're just ahead of us. Dlamini is in the house, somewhat belatedly. He was doing this in Mexico, William, for the World Cup.
What a fantastic experience for all that opportunity. Mostly the fans, for me, that gives almost their lives into watching their teams traveling the distance all around the country. Big reward.
Phillies is, as we predicted, giving Mahlangu a real workover. And only 2 games that he started Mahlangu for Orbit College last season, so he's a mere rookie at this level. Interesting ball, Phillies does well. Mahlangu was lurking just behind, he's still there. Kouassi. Oh, and then the whistle went before that little touch in. Now, was he impeded here, Kouassi?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're in mid-air and it's a little bit of a push backwards. You've got no balance whatsoever. You just lose your positioning power completely.
Inching ever closer to half-time. Can AmaZulu add a second? This is Mkhize. Is he limping a little bit, Mkhize? I might have that wrong. There was an errant pass as well from the skipper. Plenty at half-time for Sekhukhune to get through with his players.
Look, they've been under a lot of pressure, but I think they've defended well. But it is up front that they haven't really made any headway in troubling the goalkeeper. That's where maybe he needs to put a lot of emphasis on how are they going to bypass this AmaZulu defense. I mentioned, for any of their attacks to be successful, things have got to be better in that middle part. But AmaZulu has been very strong. The numbers obviously not permitting.
Mokoane now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets a deflection! And has the goal. Sekhukhune are back level before the break. Perhaps with a touch of good fortune, but in the back of the net, nevertheless.
What makes me funny is that there hasn't been too many shots. But you got to forgive, you got to feel for the goalkeeper who was sold out here by that deflection. It was a great shot, but I'm not sure if it was going to beat him had it not taken a deflection. Not enough pressure. He sets it up and is struck in, and also it bobbles just in front of him, but already they'd taken the deflection.
Does it come off Hannemub here, it would seem? Yeah. No, just Hannemub and then Phillies.
Yeah. 2 quick deflections.
More fillies than anybody else.
Yeah.
Mokoane scored 3 last season for Sekhukhune. The last one coming against Siwelele on the last day of the season in May, the last season. And picking up where he left off. Here's Mahlangu, now they're buzzing. The goal scorer, Mkize. That's gone all the way back from Mbanjwa. That's certainly a foul right in front of the ref, and he allowed play to continue. Khadebe didn't use the opportunity. Ramala has possession. Mojera, nice little touch to Mahlangu. There's a big unit in Mahlangu, powerfully built, bustling centre forward. Interesting to see how he goes in this campaign. Get much opportunity at Orbit College in the last season.
Sekhukhune are picking up the pieces. They're looking better and better as the minutes ticks by.
2 minutes of stoppage time added on, by the way. Not much time until these two sides go into the break, and as was the case in the 2 league matches last season, they are level pegging again. Before the break, there's not much time left. Zulu might have the last say here. Moralo delivers, looking for Khadebe. Kazim with the clearing header. Now Ramala's got pace up against Allen. Good strength from the defender. Gets the free kick.
Sometimes, listen, let's look into it. Is it a shoulder or is it a hand? It's a shoulder. That's why I guess maybe the technical bench of Sekhukhune are not too happy about that decision. So many times you get to see this, and it's allowed play on to continue.
So the half-time whistle blows. After Zwane, well, his team were in a relatively early lead, but Tsepo Mokoane or Tsepo Mokoena, you take your pick, with the equalizer just before the break. It got a wicked deflection, and AmaZulu plenty to talk about in the break, as will be the case with Sekhukhune United.
Came with the run of play. It must be said, at the time Sekhukhune were picking up the pieces. They were beginning to find one another with ease in that middle, progressing into the offensive half with some good combinations.
Papi Zotwane and Paulus Masehe are the 2 assistants there with Coach Kazi. What are they cooking up for the start of the second half? We'll go for a break, some analysis, and the news here. AmaZulu 1, Sekhukhune 1 in the MTN 8 quarterfinal.
Sekhukhune not being able to really focus on the game.
That's
but
what
instead,
you're talking about
yes,
right there.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, that would have been given, but great work by AmaZulu, who took full advantage of the situation.
Now, would that have been a penalty there? That challenge on Makokola from Mobi. But Ngwenya wasn't going to wait for the whistle. He, with a striker's touch, thumps that in the back of the net.
I don't see it any other way. Of which that opportunity, that push on Matokolo, I think easily for me could have resulted. But
Zulu, as you mentioned earlier, were in the final 4 years ago, losing by a single goal. Monokule Saleng, who's been in the news over the last 24 hours, scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have got a penalty anyway, but as you mentioned earlier, we're in the final 4 years ago, losing by a single goal. Monokule Saleng, who's been in the news over the last 24 hours, scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have got a penalty for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have... It's the closest they've come to a final appearance. AmaZulu, as you mentioned earlier, were in the final 4 years ago, losing by a single goal. Monokule Saleng, who's been in the news over the last 24 hours, scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Saleng, who's been in the news over the last 24 hours, scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have got a penalty anyway, but Ngwenya was taking no chances. Scored for Pirates on that day. Here's another opportunity. Ngwenya! Well, you wonder whether they would have got a penalty anyway, but Ngwenya was taking no chances. A lot
successful. Things have got to be better in that middle part, but AmaZulu has been very strong. The numbers obviously not permitting.
Mokoane now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets the deflection! And has the goal. Sekhukhune are back level before the break. Perhaps with a touch of good fortune, but in the back of the net, nevertheless.
What makes me funny is that there hasn't been too many shots, but you got to forgive, you got to feel for the goalkeeper who was sold out here by that deflection. It was a great shot, but I'm not sure if it was going to beat him had it not taken a deflection. Not enough pressure. He sets it up and is striking, and also it bobbles just in front of him, but already they'd taken the deflection.
Does it come off Hanamub here, it would seem? Yeah. No, just Hanamub and then Phillies.
Yeah. Two quick deflections.
Yeah, more Phillies than anybody else.
Yeah.
Mokoane scored.
Successful. Things have got to be better in that middle part, but AmaZulu has been very strong. The numbers obviously not permitting.
Mokoane now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets the deflection! And has the goal. Sekhukhune are back level before the break.
Things have got to be better in that middle part, but AmaZulu has been very strong. The numbers obviously not permitting.
Mokoane now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets the deflection! And has... Mokoane now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets the deflection! Now, is he going to try the shot? Yes, he is! Gets the deflection! And has the goal. Sekhukhune are back level before the break. Perhaps with a touch of good fortune, but in the back of the net, nevertheless. Perhaps with a touch of good fortune, but in the back of the net, nevertheless.
Grazed the feet of Mobi to trip him.
Now Kadebe steals it away. Good pass! Oh, and a little touch in there for Ngwenya. It seemed somehow easier to score than to put it over the bar, but that must go down as a golden opportunity. Watch Kadebe here. Just takes advantage there defender, or Mugello, was waiting for the backspin almost to fall for him.
Now, what does Ngwenya does wrong here? I think he uses the right foot, which I think there was nothing wrong with that. But I think he almost places the outside of the boot, which doesn't quite graze the feet of Moby to trip him.
Now Kadebe steals it away. Good pass! Oh, and
graze the feet of Moby to trip him.
Now Kadebe steals it away. Good pass! Oh, and against Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at Ramada bursting through now. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. I thought he left a bit of a gap between the post and himself there, William.
Let's look at it one more time here. Yes, definitely there was a gap there. But that's why then his reaction was first to that very part, that he had left the gap. In fact, he was trying to fish.
Against Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at Ramada bursting through now. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. Against Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at Ramada bursting through now. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. I thought he left a bit of a gap against Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at Ramada bursting through now. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. Is he going to go straight on goal? There's a bit of an angle there. Kouassi makes the save. So welcome back everyone here to Chatsworth Stadium, the MTN 8 quarter-final. This is the third of the matches this weekend. AmaZulu and Sekhukhune level pegging with a goal apiece. We do expect a change in the away team's attack. We see Bright and Globo, who scored against Durban City in the last match but was dropped for today, standing by to come on. And we'll get confirmation of that change for you in a moment or two. It looks as if it'll be Mahlangu to go off.
It is.
In the meantime, fans taking their seats, getting ready for the start here of the second half. Confirmation that Ndlovu is on and Tabang Mahlangu makes his way.
Hopefully it'll build up into how the game finish closer to the end of the first half. It was really, for me, getting very exciting in as far as the game itself. It's not necessarily chances created in front of goal, but I felt like Sekhukhune were really building up to a beautiful game. Great combinations moving forward. I'm not sure if AmaZulu maybe decided to sit back a little bit in allowing the game into the half with that scoreline. So that could have been a big mistake, because those are very critical time of the game for any coach to change the tactics.
Foul by Keegan Allen to start the second half. It'll be a free kick over on the far side for Sekhukhune. This is Mujela in picture. You might remember he scored a goal in the MTN 8 final for Stellenbosch 2 years ago, and then suffered a rather serious injury after that, and really battled to find his form again with the club down in the Winelands. They eventually let him go in the January transfer window. Did well at Sekhukhune, 5 goals in the second half of the season, back to his form. There's Moralo in picture, one of AmaZulu's signings in this off-season. Sekhukhune have certainly been busy in the transfer market, as they always seem to be. Buthelezi, of course, joining. Kazim, who's playing today. Kupe amongst the new signings. Mahlangu as well. Morbi back from Siwelele. On the bench today, Vandala, who did so well with Magesi last season. He was actually at AmaZulu in the pre-season for some of the matches. They were looking to sign him, but didn't work out contract-wise, so he with Sekhukhune, where he was originally before going to Magesi. We might see him in the second half sometime, should he be needed. Tomorrow, of course, a public holiday, William Shonga, celebrating Women's Day today here in South Africa.
Fantastic, Grayson. So much can be said about women in this country, all over the world for that matter. Sometimes their contributions are overshadowed by that of men. They play a very, very special role in our lives.
You've obviously been in trouble with Mrs. Shonga lately, that your speech is so eloquent there.
Not necessarily because of her. Yes, I need to make some points up here, you know.
Hanamuk got a little knock on his leg. Globo feels he should have got something out of that. It's a AmaZulu goal kick. They don't wait for Hanamuk to get any treatment. They've got on with matters here. Kouassi's ball to Hanamuk, a little bit dangerous, far too much on that, and Hanamuk still looks to be battling. There's Allen now. Nice first touch, little back heel in search of Ngwenya. Khadebe into the middle. Kamobi made a good interception, or was it Kupe? Now, Morano, that's a lovely little ball in. This time Morbi puts it away for a corner.
And that header was so necessary because there were two AmaZulu players involved in that aerial battle just behind Morbi.
Ball in from Morano, who has played for South Africa at the SAFA tournaments in the past. Khadebe to the near post. Phillies is there, still bobbing around. Phillies gets it on the knee. Allen gets a little touch. Referee's in the way, and it's going to be a free kick against Keegan Allen. I think Phillies had a good season in the last campaign. Gets better with each passing year. He had 33 starts in all competitions for AmaZulu. Ndlovu holding it up. Ramala does well. Out wide. Mojela down the line. You can see the strength there of Ndlovu. Shoulder to shoulder or body to body against Phillies. Just bumped him out the way. Now, Phillies did a good job on Motlangwe in the first half. So much so that Coach Kazi made the change. I think he's going to find it a lot tougher against Brighton Ndlovu. Second time these two clubs are meeting in cup competition, by the way. The Nedbank Cup was when they previously met a couple of seasons ago, and AmaZulu won that one 2-0 away from home. Good running down the flank. Mashalawani gets the cross in. Hanamub. Corner kick it will be.
Taking from where they left off is Sekhukhune. Once again, for me, they've come very much alive. They're still in control, dominating. And AmaZulu, unfortunately, I think they're beginning to base their game on transition football. So they're not holding much into the game. Their build-up play has since disappeared, gone throughout the window, but instead it is Sekhukhune.
Ramala will take this corner. Low to the near post. Chance at the back! And a goal! And they've come from behind to take the lead.
Is it Cooper?
It's Gilmore Cooper with his second appearance in the colours of Siwelele, and a big smile for the new signing from Uppington.
Far post, left hand guarded. Cooper obviously anticipated better. He just presents himself with the opportunity. It's an easy tap in. I don't think there was much Kowasi could do with that one. Way too deep. It wasn't, the near post wasn't properly covered. Yeah, I think Khadebe is the first one that couldn't quite clear it, and then thereafter it was anybody's.
Tucked away on the left foot by Coupe as well. Through the legs of Phillies. And gets there ahead of Ndaka. Scored 6 goals last season in the Motsepe Foundation Championship for Uppington City. And now Sekhukhune in the driving seat, and as William has been saying, deservedly so, because they're the team on the front foot. Here comes Ramala. Can he add another? Ramala! Oh my word! Left footer! That's a cracker. A third goal for Sekhukhune. And the home side are falling apart here.
That was a smack in the face. And Ramala, I spoke about him being a left-footed player, normally plays right on the left, but this inverted approach works out beautifully because he keeps dropping the shoulder to the right and going to the left, and then eventually it opens up for him. Wow, given too much space. Look at the amount of time he has here. Nobody closes him down. Maybe Keegan should have done a lot better, but he kept backtracking, giving him more time to think about what he was going to do next. Oh, that's a bullet.
Pulled the trigger. He scored a single goal last season in November. It's been a while for Ramala. But Enes Ramala with an absolute cracker. Well worth the wait, you would say.
It's been coming.
Now, let's see if AmaZulu can stage some sort of recovery here. Ndaka, Phillies, are there going to be changes from Arthur Zwane?
They need to start playing. They stopped completely. The long passes into trying to find their runners up front hasn't been working. If anything, it made it easy for Sekhukhune to be able to deal with. Maybe a little bit of a change now.
Cross inside and Gwenya! It's raining goals in Chatsworth.
Unbelievable. That is fantastic football. What a good reply for AmaZulu. This type of balls delivered into that box hasn't been coming from AmaZulu. With a little bit of combination on that far side, Mark Listen, I think
it was all the defenders, let me tell you. It was Alan, it was Phillies. They were putting it together on the right-hand side.
Wow, great goals, great goals. Once again, I don't think much Buthelezi could do in that moment.
That's a lovely cross in. Banjo, the deliverer. Looks as if it almost came off his shoulder. Ngwenya, how much of a solid touch did he get there? But good enough to steer it goalwards.
Head and shoulder. First the head and then the shoulder. Good enough to fit the goalkeeper.
5 goals we've had already. And we've had 3 of them in a very quick spell here. 3 goals in literally 4 minutes here in the second half. Now, foul against Zikale.
No, against Ramala.
Free kick opportunity here for AmaZulu. Hanemo with that left foot. They're moving all the big boys forward. He's going to leave it here for Khadebe. It's a bit low on the edge of the area. Dealt with fairly comfortably. Maybe another chance to bang it in there. All the big boys have stayed up. Phillies at the back post. Header from Phillies. Allen's in there. Shot and goal. 3-3. My word.
Can you believe it? Listen. How many minutes have we got?
Well, we said it was raining goals. It's become a hailstorm now.
Wow, you've been predicting the rain coming out later. You didn't realize it was going to come right in the field of play.
Tariq Phillies claims number 3. And we are back level pegging. It was Phillies at the back post to set it up. Allen was in there. He played it back, and Phillies just swung his foot and put it into the back of the net. He got 2 goals last season. His last against Polokwane City in the Nedbank Cup. He'll claim this one as well. Lucky.
Once again, the defenders combining with that one. I mean, it's Mdaga's delivery on this far side that finds Phillies, and Keegan gets involved, and eventually Phillies rise up to finish it.
It's lucky number 13 of his career for Tariq Phillies, who has scored now in 4 successive seasons. He knows his way to goal every now and then, the big centre-back. AmaZulu 3-1 down. Made it 3-3, and as you can see from the scores there, or the scorers there, we've had 4 goals in the space of 6 minutes. And Hanamub looking to put AmaZulu in the lead now. He's going to leave this again for Khadebe. Again a little bit low. Allen gets it out. Hanamurk goes for goal, and that's over the top.
His angle wasn't quite suited for his left foot to score from there. Maybe just launching it high into that far post will have done the trick, but nonetheless, I guess with the test of goals in the way that they came, and you begin to think you can also just get one.
Well, this is proper cup football now. Zikale forward, the chase is on here. Goalkeeper stands his ground. Buthelezi collects comfortably. Another opportunity. That's a poor ball from Khadebe. Every attack now has the promise of a goal. Now changes. This is the young Neo Mokoena, 23-year-old, who has been signed from Orlando Pirates. This will be his debut in the top flight. Hlangabeza is on as well. Moralo comes off. The other player taken off, Mbanjwa. Two changes
in the middle.
Zwane.
I mean, at the time that I thought the middle at least has come alive, but not so much from the middle directly, which is where I thought for me wasn't quite happening for AmaZulu. They stopped playing, and it's a midfield that's supposed to come up with the combinations or build a play that will make meaningful sense. This other goals that we saw has come from set pieces, so it's not necessarily from their build-up.
Now, and Globo on the attack. Sekhukhune haven't had the ball in the half since they scored their third. But the ball a little bit behind. Hlangabeza gets his first touch. Zikale forward. He'll have the free kick.
Well, the game has opened up beautifully.
Hlangabeza, 23-year-old. They signed at the start of last season, or had loaned 2 seasons ago to Durban City when they won the Otsekwe Foundation Championship. He was part of that winning setup. Coupe. Here's Ndlovu on the edge of the area. The challenge from Khadebe. The shot from Ramala, blocked this time by Allen. Good first touch. He's surely way offside in Gwenya.
Here is what might change for AmaZulu. I think Zikali might stay, and Hlangabeza might push a little bit forward, and Mokoena, the youngster, will play as a 3.
That's going to be a corner. Phillies gets a big shove in the back from Ndlovu, touches the ball, and it rolls away for a corner. He looks a little bemused, Phillies. He had the last touch there. He could shield the ball, and well, it's not often that happens to Tariq Phillies.
Indeed, you mentioned that with the arrival of Ndlovu, he might be under all sorts of problems. But this is the same shoulder shove that we saw in that first half, which was given as a foul. And this time, it isn't.
Now Sekhukhune bringing on Letlapa, another of their quality performers from the last campaign, and Mojela goes off. Letlapa made a few of the final preliminary squads in the last campaign. Ndaka had the last touch. Corner. The pressure continues here from Sekhukhune. Ramala will be the corner taker with that left foot. Looking to swing it out a little bit towards the penalty spot where the big men are all congregated. They've got fair amount of height. Sekhukhune United, good clearing header from Phillies. Well, we've had 5 minutes or so without a goal, William. We're due another one.
But the question is, which of the two is going to come up with the goal?
Good turn here. Kawasi makes the save. You could see clearly from Phillies as leading the ball. There was a good call from the goalkeeper. Simbi clears this away. Doesn't give much away, Arthur Zwane, in terms of satisfaction as he's watching his players. He's looks largely grumpy on the side of the field, but I'm sure inwardly he would be very pleased with the way they've quickly come back from that 2-goal deficit.
They looked dead and buried at the time. I didn't think they would have the character to be able to bounce back in the way that they did.
Now given away. Mashalawani with the errant pass. Khadebe hasn't really made advantage or taken advantage of that. Phillies. Just slowing down a little bit. That's in search of Ndaka. There's young Mokoena now. We haven't seen him yet since coming on. Hlangabeza, who's also amongst the early changes, and as well, he was under a bit of pressure with that pass. Now, here's Mokoena off the chest for Ngwenya. Chance here for Ndaka, needed a first touch. Oh, Buthelezi makes the save. And Mokoena was inches away for a goal on his debut. Hasn't played at this level of the game before. Inches away as Buthelezi denies him.
Wow. I'd like to see that again. How did Buthelezi get his hand to that? I thought it was gone. Now, the youngster gets a touch. It's a chest back.
Ndaka's first touch let him down a bit here.
Yes.
That's a great save. Left-footed from Mokoena, maybe not his strongest. He's almost played it in, and that's an excellent save.
Give it to the goalkeeper. Forget about Mokoena's attempt. Look at that stretch.
Yes.
Man.
Shongwe-esque in the way he stopped that one.
Wow. It's nice for Buthelezi. He was there. TS Galaxy, remember, his tops. That's why Pirates acquired his services.
You can see AmaZulu last season losing at this stage to Stellenbosch. They hadn't been in the competition for the 2 years before that. Lost in the final to Pirates. Beaten in 3 of their last quarterfinal appearances, as you can see. They'll be happy to still be in contention here. At one stage, looking as if they were going to go out. It's got really dark now with the clouds overhead, but the rain has stayed away as William Shongwe was requested.
See now, Hlangabeza, this ability of him dropping into his own half in front of his 2 defenders. He picks up the ball. He's able to recycle that a bit just to create a little bit of passing passages, a little bit going forward. That for me is what is changing for AmaZulu.
Ndaka surely fouled there, but he's allowed to play on. He might have had a shot with that left foot of his. That's in between a cross and a shot from Ndaka.
With the options running out of him in front of him, a shot would have been at least a better option. Shiloni tries to bring him down, fails.
On his left foot as well, but he did chip it in search of a teammate. When he looks at that again, he might think, well, should have had a bit of a shot with that.
Exactly.
Look at the press here from AmaZulu. How well Sekhukhune do to get out of it. Up to Ndlovu, battling with Allen. Zikale takes it with Phillies now. Look for Ndaka again on this left-hand side. Mokoena. And Globo using his strength, steals it away, but he's on his own now. He's going to have to try and muscle his way through unless he gets a bit of support. And he'll get the foul from Hanamub.
There's very little the referee could have done there. It's the flag that went high. Now, this will tell us. Yeah, a bit of a clip.
So, set piece for Sekhukhune. Let's see what they can conjure up here. And Romano with the left foot to take it. And straight at the goalkeeper. Good clearing header away. Tariq Phillies read that well. Kize providing the cover at the back. Here's AmaZulu. Kola wide to Mokoena. Too much time on the ball. He'll learn that there's very little opportunity to hold on here. Shlangabeza switches play. Too strong. Asking a bit too much from Khadebe.
Love up front has been receiving some of his long passes. Unfortunately, he's isolated from everybody else. So even when he gets the ball, he's got nobody in support for him. And eventually, he's got three all around him.
Well, it looks as if Cedric Kazi is going to make a whole raft of changes. We can see Daniel Cardoso standing by to come on, and there might be three players coming on. Ramabu was there as well, receiving instructions.
Much better from AmaZulu. I mean, that was the end of that first half. I'm not sure what happened because they stopped playing completely. But now we're beginning to see the kind of a team that they are, given the opportunity to play.
It looks as if it should be a corner. The refereeing team confirmed that. There was a lot of pressure there on Letlapa. Looks a bit like Maklaba.
Yes, that's right.
Younger brother in spirit more than anything else.
Yeah, Maklaba. Kind of sounds the same.
Hanamub to take it, left foot.
In swing.
Strong header away this time from Matsimbi. Zulu's going to pat this forward again. That's over the head of Mokoena. Very keen Arthur Zwane to get his side into the semi-finals, have a bit of a go at the big boys who've qualified already, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. We're going to have that triple change now for Sekhukhune United. So Cardoso, Ramabu and Vandala. Cardoso was supposed to be released at the end of last season, then they offered him a new contract. Vandala was training with AmaZulu at the beginning of the campaign. He's now in Sekhukhune colours, and Ramabu, of course, comes into the side from Polokwane City. Daniel Cardoso has played more games than any other player for Sekhukhune United. The other two are making their first appearance here for the men in red.
Just trying to work it out then. What does that mean? In as far as a change into the formation, an additional defender, who would have made his way out from that defensive pairing?
Nobi, who's gone off?
Yes.
Playing his first game of the season, there might be some fitness issues. Needs more game time. Ramabu and Bandara will add quite a lot of excitement to the attack. That's Ramabu's first touch. Bandara as well. And who had the last touch there? Was it Hanran Mub? Yes, the referee says the AmaZulu skipper touched it last. So corner kick here for Sekhukhune United. We are moving into the final 15 minutes of this encounter. Those two changes for Sekhukhune are certainly offering some exciting options.
Bit of a balance, yes, defensively, but also the options are very wide in attack.
First contribution from Bandara to the near post, looking for Cardoso. Clearance from Phillies, comes off Allen. Clear. Chases on here at the back. Oh, that ball falls from Mokoena. He's missed. Well, he's had a wonderful opportunity, this young man, on his debut to make a big statement here. And he's had one effort saved by Buthelezi. And that's an excellent chance. And here's Ngwenya now! Straight at Buthelezi. What's happened in the defense of Sekhukhune?
Panic-stricken. It's the only word that maybe I can use to describe those moments. Not being decisive, this is another.
Zikale is taken away from Matsimbi, who recovers. He's nice and strong. Buthelezi comes out and claims it. Well, it's at times, I suppose, for the coaching purists, William, there have been a lot of mistakes and players caught out of position, etc. But just for the general fan, this is a really exciting cup tie.
Listen, doesn't get any better than this. I mean, 6 goals in one game, and the avalanche of attacks and the goalkeeping mistakes and the saves. That's what this game is all about. It's a cup game.
Kize clears it away. Zwane, nice and animated. This is the skipper of Sekhukhune, who you might remember started his career at Mamelodi Sundowns when they sent him off to Chippa United. Is not the one who's getting the roasting from Zwane. It's young Mokoena.
Indeed.
Number 18 there on the screen. Beza made a nice little touch to the byline. Ngwenya's waiting in the middle. Another chance for Mokoena. Not in the right place. In favour of Sekhukhune United.
At least there could be mistakes, there could be missing opportunities, great opportunities for that matter. But you know what? The one thing that I think every coach can walk away feeling satisfied about is just the level of commitment from the players in seeing the coach through.
This is a competition, of course, where you basically only play 3 matches and you're in the final. You play this quarter-final, you get through, you've got the 2 legs of the semi.
Changes the season altogether.
Absolutely. Get yourself in the cup final in September, October. This gives you a real lift for the rest of the campaign. Now Khadebe pushing forward as he got the foul right in front of the referee. The cards have stayed in Mr. Tulo's pocket. But finally now, the Chapa is booked. Back on Khadebe and catching him with that challenge as well. Another good game, of course, on the right-hand side from Khadebe. That's pretty much what we expected, though. What a great season he had in the last campaign. Was another one of the consistent performers for AmaZulu. again. He's buried a few good free kicks in his time. This might be a bit far out. Let's see. Goes for goal. Oh, it was dipping in on the goalkeeper. Buthelezi did well.
And that this type of balls, if you're allowed it to drop a little bit ahead of you, it has a tendency of taking that wicked bounce. So him dropping that low to be able to collect it into the basket is fantastic goalkeeping.
When you're offside.
Listen, help me out here. Didn't let Klapper go to Sweden sometime last season?
I'm afraid I can't help you with that.
From TS Galaxy?
There might be a chance for Mokoena. Shots blocked.
You know, you always get this thing around to getting this type of information. I'm just thinking, if I remember very well, might not have been last season, but maybe 2 seasons ago. I'm thinking about it.
I think you're thinking of Kabini. Went.
Kabini, that's right. Yes. Because he also played as a left full back.
Gwenya with 2 goals will not get a hat-trick today. He's replaced by Lekoloane, one of AmaZulu's new signings. Comes from Stellenbosch, another one who would have tasted the MTN 8 Cup final action last campaign, although not in the starting lineup. This is good running from Khadebe. Just slipping at the vital moment. Allows the clean-up at the back from Kazim. Mokoena finds Hlangabeza. Sekhukhune forward. Is the flag staying down? Lekoloane's first touch, looking to play it into the path of Mokoena. Good interception, timely interception, it should be said, by Sekhukhune. So every time AmaZulu come down the flank, particularly on the right-hand side, looking very dangerous.
Khadebe in particular, I think, has been heavily involved in most of those build-ups. Unfortunately, Mdaga on this left-hand side hasn't seen too many of those forward movements that we know he can produce as well.
Well, now well into the final 10 minutes. 6 goals this afternoon here at Chatsworth, and there might be more. Yes, goals. There's Khadebe one more time. Lekoloane waits in the middle, not the best of crosses. What kick it'll be.
If anything that we've seen from the last 2 semi-finals yesterday, all going to extra time, are we heading in that direction as well?
Both of those games yesterday, of course, did not end up going to penalties, although they were just minutes away from being decided by the spot kicks. 8 goals in both of those matches. Mokoena. He's been overworked today, Khadebe. Put in a wonderful shift. We've seen the news yesterday, William, that Pitso Mosamane is being lined up to take over as the Bafana coach. Just has to settle the contract issues with Safa. Hopefully will be formalized in the next week. I'm sure he's already taking notes in terms of exciting youngsters like Khadebe on the right-hand side, who could be the future of Bafana.
Prospects are massive as far as the build-up of some of these players. If you look at what their contribution can be, not only for their respective clubs, but nationally, yes. At their age to start with, meaning that they might be there for a few more years.
Khadebe's 25, Benson Magala, current and undisputed first choice right back, is in his 30s now, so a potential successor perhaps. This is Sekhukhune, the last 3 seasons involved in this competition. Only chance that they come through into the semi-finals. 2 out of 3 quarterfinals. Seeing them now. How serious an injury is this to Buthelezi? Good move for him to join Sekhukhune, to leave Orlando Pirates at the age of 28 and resume his career. He's got a long career ahead of him still, potentially. Last season, as we mentioned earlier, not given much chance with Sipho Chain having such a great campaign. But has he hurt his hammy there with that big clearance? Cramp, or perhaps something more serious?
Anything around muscle can be taken seriously. His muscles are not the kind that will recover immediately. So look at into the torso of AmaZulu. Enjoying the view from the box. Mr. Zungu.
Yeah, he's got a smile on his face, given his team have fought back well, but still level pegging. Bit of the magic spray, perhaps, to sort matters out for Buthelezi. On the bench is Toaster Sabata, the former Zambian international goalkeeper. He was at Sekhukhune a few seasons back, and then they brought him back surprisingly towards the end of the last campaign. He took over from Lerner as the first choice, and then Lerner was released at the end of the last campaign and has joined Kaizer Chiefs.
Doctor for Sekhukhune, Dr. Mhlanga, has spent a number of seasons with the Castric Stars of Mpumalanga. He's just moved beginning of the season to join Sekhukhune, which is a level up for him.
Will they get a transfer fee when they...
It doesn't happen with the technical stuff, unfortunately. But obviously appreciating the recognition for the amount of services provided throughout the years.
And there have been a few doctors who've been real characters in the game. In your day, of course, Fumaepa at Kaizer Chiefs, a wonderful man who made lots of service to the club.
Dr. Mutaung for Bafana Bafana as well for years. He was involved, reckless.
Another free kick, and Hanamub with the opportunity now with that left foot.
Simple know very well that you don't afford the opposition this kind of set pieces. I mean, you can see Phillies on the far side as well. I'm sure they'll be planning to be able to apply the same tactics they applied with that other goal.
Timmy is the second player booked today after Letlapa. Under 3 minutes before we go into stoppage time. At the end of the 90, extra time looms here at Chatsworth. So does the rain. In from Hanamub. Flangabeza. Daka. They're all pushing forward, the big men, hoping for something in the air. Khadebe. No foul. He's getting a little tired now, I think, with all the work that he's put in. One back by Khadebe. Oh, how tight was that? The flag was up very quickly.
Must have been very tight. Looked like he was on to me.
Cardoso gives away possession. Now let's see. Ooh, I don't think that's off. I mean, it's not the right angle for us to look at it, but if you look at the feet and the turn, the timing of his turn was excellent.
That's it. Look to bend around a bit as well to avoid the call.
4 minutes of stoppage time are going to be added on. We are 90 seconds away from going into stoppage time here at Chatsworth. Are we going to have a winner in the 90, unlike the other two quarterfinals yesterday? Daka. Hoops that away as far as Mkhize, Zakali, Mokoena muscled out by that challenge. Thought we'd see a bit more from Ramabu and from Vandalis than they came on, but it's been all AmaZulu really. Into stoppage time we go. 4 minutes added on. Chase on here for Mokoena. Slips. And it's going to be a goal kick. If it stays this way, Mokoena will reflect on today with some disappointment, I think, perhaps, given the chances he had. Glorious one that he put wide, a goal that might well have seen AmaZulu ahead by now.
But if you think about it, the opportunity given at this stage, already making an impact in the offensive part of the field in that nature, massive for the youngster. I'm sure that he can build on.
Zikani's done well to recover. He has a chance. Makaptola saved by Buthelezi again. That was on target.
Unfortunately, I think he doesn't quite get the opportunity to swing his boot. Almost pokes it towards the goal.
Yes. Agreed. It wasn't Globo using his strength again. He had the last touch in Globo. Now it's been given to Sekhukhune. It looks as if we are headed to extra time here again. Referee says just take it a little further back in the right place. Shawani. That's a boot from Globo, well away from the goal and more speculative than anything else. Allen makes the mistake. He hasn't Globo. And back in place to deny Ramabu. Flick on from Ndlovu, away from Phillies. Oh, little man Zikale climbed above Ndlovu there like he wasn't, well, he's half his size. He has Ndlovu now. Sekhukhune in stoppage time. Can they win it here? Keeper, it bobbles around. It's away by Phillies, just ahead of Ndlovu. Now Mokoena, offside again.
This time he is. Chuko Felevideli. From the angle that I'm sitting from, clearly for me. Toss was good, but Makugolo went a little bit too early. Now look at him crossing the line.
Yeah. Well picked up by our cameraman on the spot as always. There's Mokoena. Clearance from Cardoso. 30 seconds remain. Little flick on. It's away from Lekoloane. With support behind from Vandala. Referee says that's it. Exactly 4 minutes of stoppage time played. Another 30 minutes ahead of us here in this cup tie. What did you think of that second half, William Shongwe? You haven't seen as many action-filled ones as that of late.
Listen, if this is how the season, if this is to go anything to which the season can go by, then we are in for a big high ride, and we can only hope so. Of course, I know this is a cup game, but you know what, from even the league games that we saw, for me the energy levels were just unbelievable. I'm talking about simply the Betway Premiership, which is something that's like a marathon. So this just tells you the preparation that are going into putting these players into this level, as early as this, and yet the intensive way that they are playing, and that's just going to be amazing. I can already foretell that we are in not only 2-horse race like we saw last year, but could be even a 4-horse race.
Out comes the work now, the physios and the doctors, and lots of stretching, lots of ointment. And confirmation here that after 90 minutes, with extra time to follow, the score between these two sides, 3 goals apiece. Let's just remind you of the goals we've seen here today. This one early on in the game, tucked away by the Zimbabwean Ngwenya. Came after 14 minutes. And if they hadn't scored that, they surely would have got a penalty anyway. Then towards the end of the half, Mokoena, with a little bit of a deflection of Tariq Phillies, had Sekhukhune level pegging.
And then there was a moment of madness that followed.
Bouncing through Coupe at the back post. That was 2-1 to Sekhukhune early on in the second half. It came in the 52nd minute, and then just 2 minutes later, Ramala, probably the best goal of the afternoon. What a strike on the left foot. There's no chance for the goalkeeper.
What are you talking about? It's straight into his face, just above his head. I think he was focused on diving and just lifting his hand and tip it over the bar. That's my...
And then AmaZulu very quickly back in the game. 2 minutes after that, Ngwenya made it 3-2. And then another 2 minutes later,
it was far from over. And then
ball out wide. Philly sets it up. Allen's in there. He lays it back, and Philly just swings a boot at it. Gets a bit of a deflection of Buthelezi into the back of the net. 3-3. And remarkably, 4 goals in a 6-minute spell. So after 90 minutes, these are how the stats look. Goal attempts for AmaZulu, certainly a lot more than Sekhukhune United, and that's particularly towards the end of the game, after they pulled themselves back in those 2 yellow cards, both on the part of Sekhukhune, Netlapa and Matsimbi. Offsides, I think they'll be disappointed with AmaZulu. They might have had a better chance had they not been caught in those situations. So now referee Tolo will call the 2 captains. Cardoso has taken the armband off Mkhize. Rian Hanamub will join the referee as well. And they will decide how we're going to proceed over the next 30 minutes or so. Now remember, yesterday, both matches in this competition went into extra time. And on both occasions, we had a very late winner, which meant we did not need penalties. Hanamuk looking for help on what the decision will be. They're going to defend the goal on the left, and Sekhukhune will kick the first half of extra time off.
But what I saw, as much as I said a lot about the condition of the pitch, but I think the players got over that. They adapted to the conditions and they start playing football. For me, at the end, you couldn't quite pick up whether there was something wrong with the field. That, obviously, you got to give it to the players.
The chairman came down to add his 10 cents worth. I'm not too sure coach would be terribly happy about that. I certainly wouldn't if I was a coach, but owner of the club, fully entitled to do what he likes. And if he feels he needs to come and give some encouragement, so be it.
Who knows? The players might have been promised some additional, incentives to them to go win. So you need a chairman like that if you are the coach.
Here's Hanamuk, forward. No changes, by the way, at the start of extra time. Remember, with extra time, you can add a 6th substitution. We've had a total of 5 in that second half from Sekhukhune. And there are still 3 more available off the bench for AmaZulu. Drobo really has proven a handful here for the AmaZulu defenders. And Keegan Allen's given away the free kick. So 15 minutes each side, and here will come the last change, I should say, for Sekhukhune United, their 6th of the game. They are bringing on an attacker in the form of young Karabo Chaka. He's only had 2 starts for Sekhukhune in the past, and he's on for Mkize. Now, back post opportunity. Hangs in there. He has a free header. Cleared away by Phillies. Looked like a decent chance for Sekhukhune, for Matsimbi. Khadebe, left foot. Forward for Mokoena to chase onto. Matsimbi back to Buthelezi. Mokoena again. Remember, Betway Premiership action resumes round 2 Tuesday and Wednesday, and then again at the weekend, round 3. The MTN 8 semi-finals will be on the weekend of the 22nd and the 23rd of this month, the first legs thereof. All the clubs back in action. AmaZulu, as we mentioned earlier, will be playing Orlando Pirates here in eThekwini at the Moses Mabhida Stadium on Wednesday. That's a 7:30 kickoff. Sekhukhune have Kaizer Chiefs the same night, away from home in Jozi at Soccer City. Don't forget, Chiefs and Golden Arrows coming up at 6 p.m. here on your World of Champions, the last of the quarter-final ties here in the MTN 8.
Do add the one on Tuesday in Bombela, TS Galaxy against Mamelodi Sundowns.
And remember what happened just a few months ago in that same fixture last season. Effectively, that 3-2 win for Galaxy would have cost Sundowns the championship. So, do they come with revenge top of their minds for that game? Weren't terribly convincing yesterday, it must be said, the African champions. First game since they won the Champions League. Ashwani combining with Ramabu. Shangabeza takes it away. Now Hanamut. There's some pressure from Vandala. Hank stays down. This might be an opportunity for Sekhukhune. A run coming in from Letlapa. Khadebe. It's past Coupe. Play on, says the referee. That should have been a foul. Is he going to bring it back? No, he says play on. No advantage. Crowd don't like that.
Well, I'm sure he'll sit at home at a later stage and think to himself, what was I thinking?
Quena trying to play it through, but good block again in defence. First contribution from the sub Klaka is to give possession away. Ekolowane. Zikale has played very well in patches. Zikale was very impressive, I would say, the first 30 minutes of the game, dictating matters, and then went a little off the boil, and
the whole team went off the boil. His contributions about helping the team to build up and obviously winning things in the process, being a defensive defender. So that went out the window, which is what allowed Sekhukhune to bounce back.
But they also got away with studs up tackle there that's very dangerous. County's lucky stars. Letlapa will take this throw in. Certainly settled back into a left back role, a switch in formation since all the changes were made. Anamub. Actually, the one who keeps it in play. What are his options? Klaka. There's space here for the youngster who's just come on. 6 changes made by Sekhukhune. Zwane has still got some gunpowder in the turret that he could possibly use. Ramabu by Hanamub. Bandala pushing forward. Here's Letlapa. Oh, what a goal! Left-footed thriller. That is an absolute cracker from Letlapa. Well, we've seen some good goals today, but I'll tell you what, with the angle on that one, that is absolutely superb.
Indeed. Indeed. That's a beautiful, well-struck ball with precision of the highest order. With very little coming from Kawase as a reaction. But once again, for me, a little bit of a build-up. You know, it eventually opens up. And at stage when AmaZulu were also bouncing back with their own build-up. Wow. Now, watch this.
This is something special. The club has only scored once before. Last season in the Nedbank Cup. Wow, look at that. Takes a little bit of help from the woodwork, but that was screaming in. The goalkeeper would have just heard the whistle of that past him.
No reaction.
Debut from the Ivorian, William. He's led in 4 now.
On the volley, that's what makes it really difficult, but taking shots of this nature, but it's hit the sweet spot, yeah.
Absolutely superb. And there might be another one here from Letlapa. This time the angle was far too much. He was off balance as well. Sekhukhune 4, AmaZulu 3. A 7-goal thriller here in the MTN 8. We had 3 goals at Orlando Stadium. We had 5 goals in Tshwane last night. And they keep multiplying. So maybe it means that when Chiefs play Arrows, there might be 9 goals, William. Don't go anywhere at 6 o'clock tonight.
Don't go too far ahead of yourself. I know.
Yeah, it'll probably be a goalless draw, and we'll all be bitterly disappointed. I'm sure with the cup action, and the fact that we need to have a winner, that's going to be as enthralling an encounter. 6 p.m. Kaiser Chiefs Golden Arrows live from Soccer City, coming up next on your World of Champions. But for the moment, we have not settled this tie just yet. Sekhukhune are in the lead, and for the 3rd game in a row in the MTN 8, we have a goal in extra time. But is it the decisive one? Butaleza's ball, not the best there for Omega Mdaka. Now, what does Sekhukhune do? 20 minutes to go. Try and put their foot on the ball, slow things down, or do they go in search of another one?
Somebody will advise maybe go in search of another one, just to build up a little bit of security. But somebody else will think, you know what? It's extra time, and there's only about 20 more minutes to go. See if we can hang on to this one.
Global in possession, gets the pass of Ramabu. He's got support here. He has Letlapa. Global on side, the cross into the middle. That's where he should be, and it's a bit too strong for Mandala. So not the debut that the Ivorian goalkeeper would have been looking for, though to be fair, were there any mistakes he made?
I would say so. Those were great ones, except for me, it's the one that went straight above his head that I thought, yes, it was a bomb. But, you know, it's like within your target. You don't have to dive to the side. You just have to raise your hand. I'm coming with this opinion from a goalkeeper's point of view. Otherwise, still others will say it was a great goal. Yes, it was.
Well, it was hit with great power, so whether he was standing or diving, would he have been able to stop it? It was so close in. Here's Ndaga. Staying away by Matsimbi. Mashinwane pushes forward. Favor of Lekolowane. Kupe amongst the goal scorers, and this is his league debut for Sekhukhune, having joined them at the beginning of the campaign. Did get a run out, so his cup debut, I should say, get a run out in the league last week. Anamub. Way on here. Ramabu and Globu. Looks as if they're happy just to hold on to the ball for the moment here, Sekhukhune. Just run it out until extra time, half time, and then maybe see what the coach wants to do. But it's AmaZulu who've got to come and fetch the ball.
Makes all the sense to me. Because if you're going to push it forward, all you're doing is risking ball possession. And AmaZulu, from the desperate position that they are, they would like to get in any form of the ball.
Remember Ndaka. Here is Klaka. Too strong. Now, AmaZulu, realizing the clock is against them, need to get this forward. Tariq Phillies is looking at the options ahead of him. Zikale, Allen, Phillies again. Niall switch. There's a little space on the left. Daka looks up, their options. Little touch from Mokoena. Cross back in and dealt with by Cardoso. Happy to put that into touch. Keegan Allen very quick to get the ball back in play. There was a little push on the back there, so linesman says free kick in favour of AmaZulu. Foul committed on Khadebe by Letlapa. Going to throw everybody forward now. Phillies has come up. Allen's there. Two centre backs. Khadebe takes it. Curling away. Back post. It needed a good clearance. It came from Matsimbi. Another tough game coming. AmaZulu against Orlando Pirates on Wednesday. I won't be thinking about that just yet. There's a head knock there. We're going to need medical attention potentially. Not really on the head, it's shoulder to head which require too much attention.
But it's still a good smack into the face. Has the ref blow for halftime?
Well, it looks as if he's done so, the referee. The end of the first half of extra time. While he's still checking on the injured player, all the other players have gone to the sideline, and given that all of the subs are on helping, it would seem as if the halftime whistle has indeed gone. So the end of 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes of extra time. AmaZulu 3, Sekhukhune 4. What a scoreline that is, William Shongwe.
When last did you see 7 goals in one game?
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I was at Siwalele against Sundowns in May. That was 7-4.
I remember that very well.
Yes,
wow.
So been a little bit lucky of late.
Yeah?
But
you. Listen, it's important every now and then that teams just opens it up like that. The game has gone too defensive. I think for the most part, teams are just working hard on neutralizing the opposition and not doing enough to help themselves create better opportunities.
Second half of extra time is underway. AmaZulu a little bit tardy. They're trying to get a change on in these closing stages. They've got young Mashichu standing by to come on. He'll add to the attack up front. Mashichu now in his 6th season with AmaZulu. Just a single league goal to his name, and one in the MTN 8 last season as well when they played against Stellenbosch. So he's coming on. Daka off. He'll go wide onto that left-hand side. 23-year-old who's been at the club for the last 4 years already. Very clearly against AmaZulu. They need to throw everything forward. They've got under 15 minutes to fight their way back, as they've done already in this game. Perhaps take it to penalties. Mokoena up front there, and Matsimbi the defender.
Hasn't disappointed. Yes, he might have missed some chances, but I'm very excited about what he can grow up to be. Shows a lot of courage.
And a move with the left, will look at it, curl it in. Clearance at the near post. Now Zikali. Left-footed shot. Oh, he's never going to trouble Buthelezi. Get a goal last season against Chip United when AmaZulu won 5-1 in April. Well, there'll be no rush here for Sekhukhune United. They're in the driving seat. Ramabu. Clearance from Phillies. Hana moved. Mashichu didn't get much distance on that. That's a better throw from him. outside of play. So they're gaining a bit of ground here. Hanamub takes it quickly. Clearance off the knee. Mokwena's in there. Is there half a shot there for a foul on the edge of the area? The bench got up from AmaZulu. There wasn't much of a murmur from the crowd, and certainly none of the players except for Makakoro. Beaten in the midfield, and he's going to get a yellow for that late challenge. It'll be the third player booked, all of them from Sekhukhune. Yeah, far too late.
And that lens on the top, that is not shielded by any
the shin pads, although the shin pads these days are absolutely minute. You wonder why they bother. Here's Khanebe. Keeps it in play. Sends all the bottles flying. Hanamub to the byline. With the right foot. Gets the cross in. Allen's in there. Now AmaZulu searching for the equalizer. Keeper's got to come out and sweep.
Oh, what was that?
Wasn't a bad pass. I think,
no, I don't think he was expecting a return pass.
I think he thought the goalkeeper would pass it so well.
I think that Cabeza was actually a bit more free into the inside of the field, but it's a choice that you make as a goalkeeper. If the rest of the team is not aware of your effort, then it's another.
Ramabu, from Quarterfinals City. Lovely ball inside. Mandala. Could this be another? Not enough power from Ndlovu as Kouassi looks to get AmaZulu on the front foot. 10 minutes to go. Using his strength, is he going to get the decision? It goes against him. He's a picture of frustration out there on the far side. There'll be some tired bodies out there now. This early in the season. Not much game time in the legs for these players after the break, coming into the new campaign and already committed to playing in extra time with a cup semi-final at stake. It's mental fortitude now more than anything else.
Yeah, you don't realize actually the damage that gets done to the muscles if they're overworked and they're not ready to be playing at this intensive state in the beginning. But unfortunately, this is just what this cup does to the players.
And then there's no rest, of course, because they're back in action on Tuesday, Wednesday. These two teams on Wednesday. Both coaches might be forced to make several changes.
And the question is, what kind of training do you do? Looking forward to, there's going to be a regen tomorrow.
Kale safely away.
And regen tomorrow. And a bit of, passing about. There's no training. There's no real training. The next game, you're just trying to reactivate the muscle to get going again after such an intense game.
And then, of course, you've got another game against Siwelele for AmaZulu at the weekend. So
back to back.
Yep. It'll be much the same again. Regen and a bit of prep, and that's it. Sekhukhune playing Polokwane City on Saturday as well in the derby game. Hanamuk wants to get it onto the left. Can he get the cross in? Now the right. Hangs it up. Defending from Matsindi. Klangabeza. Phillies. Ball inside. Zikali following through. Very good tackle. Still alive though with Hanamuk. Has he got the free kick? Referee says yes. Now that's not in a bad position for someone of Hanamuk's quality.
Indeed. But now, the question is, should it for a left or a right? The angle for me opens up for a right-footed player.
Did so well in a way to force the foul, Hanamuk, by shielding the ball.
But it means he might not be able to go direct, not unless he hits it with the laces. But if it's going to, the other option is to lift it into that crowded area to see who gets the highest to get to.
See the jerseys of the players, the wind has picked up a little bit. The rain is now looming. It has held off. That's disappointing by Hanamuk's high standards. Little chip into the area. Look how Allen has pushed forward. Zikale. Here's the cross, too close to Buthelezi. Comes out and collects comfortably. He'll take his time as well. He doesn't actually have a lot of time under the new rules. As the young man's prayer is going to be answered when AmaZulu get the equaliser, take us to penalties potentially.
You can only throw it up there and let the Lord
see what happens. Nikolawane looking for Fadebe. He's still running. He's had a tremendous game on the right hand side, but might land up on the losing team. Cedric Kazi, this is his first game on the bench. Didn't have his work permit. He has a chance. Offside again. Now, this is one that we will look at again with some interest at. Lazy. 4 minutes remain. Time's running out for AmaZulu. Sekhukhune just want to hold on to possession here. Big frame of Ndlovu, taken away by Mokoena. Here's Mashiko. Foul surely in favor of Mashiko. AmaZulu were 4th in the Betway Premiership last season. Sekhukhune 5th. Not much to choose between the two of them. If they do win here, Sekhukhune, it would be 5 games without defeat now against AmaZulu. Over the head of Mokoena, not exactly the biggest man in terms of a target. Hanamuk takes it quickly. Klangabeza. Cross to the back post. A corner has been given. Mashiko was the intended target. Kazim got a little touch. player who joined from Venda FC, played at AmaZulu as well previously. Just over 2 minutes to go. Here's AmaZulu. Time running out. Keegan Allen cleared off the line. Kazim got ahead of his goalkeeper Buthelezi. Well, he looks so disappointed there, Allen. Wasn't the best of clearances either from Kazim. Here's Hanamub. Another corner. Another chance for the header. Zikari came off the chest. Khadebe can maybe bang it back in again. Here comes the cross. That's going to dribble away for another corner. The set pieces are mounting here for AmaZulu, but time is ticking. 90 seconds to go for the home team. Crowd suddenly raise their voice. Touch from Phillies, from Hanamub. Doesn't find anyone in the middle.
Good thing about this game is that it's never over up until final whistle goes. So sometimes it looks like it's a dead and buried situation, but teams somehow always find a way to bounce back. And I'm not saying that's going to be the situation. I'm just saying sometimes you wonder, what are they chasing? The time is gone, and then it happens.
Allen, long ball. Buthelezi came off his line, but it wasn't. Didn't find anyone in the right position. We hear there'll be 1 minute added. There are some 15 seconds plus a full minute to go. Klangabeza gets the throw in. Needs to take it quickly. Tariq Phillies needs to hoof this forward. 5 seconds and we're into stoppage time. Here's Phillies. Little flick on there. Buthelezi! Is that a penalty? No, says the referee. It's a corner. Wow. Oh, the crowd are on their feet. No penalty given. Cool as a cucumber. Referee looks convinced by his decision. Here's the corner. Bobs around. Here's a chance. Oh, it skews off the side of the boot of Mokoena. Another chance for the young man.
Can't believe it himself. I mean, honestly, he needed to just keep it on target. The space was there for him to do so. A bit of pressure.
Two huge opportunities.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit more composed in such areas. That's just the demand of playing that position.
Well, the board's just gone up now with 1 minute, but our clock says we've already had almost a minute of stoppage time, so we'll watch the referee closely. Free kick in favour of AmaZulu. Last chance now to hoof it forward.
Basically.
Klangabeza to Allen. He's going to play it wide to Khadebe. They need to get this forward. Here's Phillies. Crowd say, bang it into the danger zone. Bobbing around. Clearance away from Matsimbi. Another one. Ref has a look at his watch. Is this the last chance? Zikali. Whistle to mouth from referee Tolo. It's all over. Celebration for Cedric Kazi, for Papi Zotwane, and for Paulus Masehe. Sekhukhune have come here, given away the early goal, and then fought their way back for a big win, William Shongwe.
Big win away from home, and obviously this takes them to the next stage of the competition, semi-finals, and I think it's worth the effort that they were able to apply and the way that they went 3-1, and then AmaZulu bounced back. That could have taken quite a bit from them, and yet they continued. The extra time, I guess, is how they controlled this game. Obviously, getting that goal was very key. And then from there, it was a question of just managing the situation. Huffing is AmaZulu. They kept trying, it just never was to be. But very satisfying win, I must say, for AmaZulu.
Well, Mokoena had the chance near the end. The young signing from Orlando Pirates, unable to put the ball in the back of the net. Sekhukhune, the winning goal was a stupendous one from Vuyo Letlapa in the closing stages. 4-3 the victory. They join Sundowns and Pirates in the next round. Who's next? Chiefs and Arrows will decide the semi-final lineup later tonight. Here, AmaZulu 3, Sekhukhune 4.
So they just